We are just 1 week away from the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's crazy to think that we are finally here. Well, maybe it'll be crazier to think a week from now that we'll finally be in our house with a Nintendo Switch 2, or, you know, it's a portable system. Maybe we'll be somewhere else, like our office building. I'm just very happy that we are very close to the release of this console, a console that I've been waiting for since about 2023. At that point, I was already done with the system. I wasn't very excited for the future of the console aside from Metroid Prime 4, which at that point, many people were already expecting to be on Switch 2 anyway, although this was before the release of Prime Remastered, which kind of reignited some spark I had for the Nintendo Switch 1, but in the end, I was just ready to move on to the next big thing. It's coming out in the next 7 days, technically 6 if you're going to pick it up at GameStop or Best Buy the night before on the Pacific time zone, which I'm not going to. I have my console pre-ordered at Walmart, so I'm going to be waiting for that thing the morning of June 5th. I couldn't be more excited for the Switch 2. Maybe if it launched with Metroid Prime 4, I would be more excited, but that ship has long sailed. We still don't have a solid release date for the game as of recording this, but I'm fully confident it's coming out this year. It's probably coming out in the September time period. But really, why am I excited for the Switch 2? What is it about this system that brings me so much anticipation? Because it's really just a beefed up Nintendo Switch. Well, that's why I'm excited. It's a beefed up Nintendo Switch with exclusive games you can't play on the current Switch 1. I haven't really played my Switch 1 in months. I might have picked it up once every now and then, but I really haven't just sat down and played an entire game in one sitting. And that's because the system just feels dated to me. Any system that's been around for 8 years will already feel like that. But you could really tell for the past year and a half, maybe even 2 years, that the system was on its last legs. Even just putting aside that some games weren't running too well on the system, even first-party Nintendo games, the Switch 1 library this past year has just been really lackluster. The only game I really played last year was Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, of which I haven't beaten, but I fully intend to beat. Actually, I forgot I played The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, a game that actually did very well on my channel, even though I came out with a video on that thing like almost 3 weeks after it came out. People really love Zelda content. Maybe I should start doing more Zelda content alongside my Metroid content. I'm saying content too much. But other than those two games, I haven't really been playing my Switch much, which stinks because I really do love the concept of this system. I've loved it in the first few years of its life, it being a handheld home hybrid console, and I want to feel that level of excitement again with the Switch 2. Of course, it won't feel nearly as impactful because the Switch was kind of the first console of its time, so the Switch 2 is just an extension of that, but even still, I can't wait to just look at that beautiful 1080p HDR display that's going to be much bigger than my Model 1 Switch. I don't even have a Switch OLED, so this is going to be like a really big jump in quality for me. And I know that specs aren't the most important thing, but for a console like the Switch, yeah, it's in dire need of an upgrade, and it's going to be a significant one. I actually just came out with a video on Commonwealth Realm, of which I'm doing many Switch 2 videos, so go subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. But the contents of that video basically go over the specifics of the Switch 2 specs, and it really is going to be a huge jump from Switch 1. It may not be as powerful as the current gen consoles, even Xbox Series S, according to the YouTube channel GeekerOne, but I really don't need it to be a portable PlayStation 5. If it was, that thing would cost like $800. I just need it to perform better than the current Switch, and it looks like it's really going to do that, especially with games like Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. Honestly, as much as I want to get that game physically just to actually support physical third-party games on the Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it because I already own the game on PlayStation 5. I haven't bought the Phantom Liberty DLC yet. I really should do that, but I don't know, I just think I'd feel kind of weird spending $70 on this game that I already own on PlayStation 5, and it technically just looks and performs worse than it does on the PS5. Maybe if I left my house often, I would totally pick this up, especially because it supports cross-save, which is a really cool feature, but honestly, I might just wait to buy this game on a sale, perhaps. I don't know, convince me in the comments to pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2. Do your best. Of course, the games I'm going to play on launch day are Mario Kart World, because I pre-ordered that Mario Kart bundle, because there was no way I was going to spend $80 on that game. If I only pre-ordered the standard bundle with just the console, I know I would not have bought Mario Kart World, at least at full price, because I really don't support that pricing scheme, and I know many of you don't as well, but thankfully I pre-ordered the Mario Kart bundle, and I know I'm going to play it. I don't know for how long I'll play it for, to be honest, because Mario Kart is not exactly my jam. RAM. I like to have it around though in case of, you know, parties where I can play 4-player split screen. But yeah, I wanted that Mario Kart World bundle because again, $50 Mario Kart World, you really just can't say no to that. But as for other games, I'm probably just going to play Breath of the Wild again, but this time at 4K 60 FPS. I don't know if it's upscaled 4K or native 4K. I think it's upscaled. It's more like a 1440p game. I'm dying to revisit that world again, especially with the upgraded Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I don't know about Tears of the Kingdom. I have beef with Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think that game is a very good successor to Breath of the Wild, but I know I'm just going to love revisiting that world in Breath of the Wild. I wish I could just wipe my memory and just play that game all over again and rediscover everything like it was brand new. It was a huge game, of course, when it came out on Switch. That game represented a lot for me because I waited so long for Breath of the Wild on Wii U, and then when I bought it on Switch, I just remember it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I got my Switch 1 from GameStop, and I just hooked it up to my TV, and I was just like, finally, I'm here. I made it. And to think that Metroid Prime 4 is going to feel very similar because I've waited for that game even longer than I waited for Breath of the Wild, but it's not going to come out on launch day of Switch 2, which is fine. I've made my peace with that. Give Metroid Prime 4 its own window of time to shine in its own spotlight after the Switch 2 hype has somewhat died down. That game needs all the attention it deserves. And coming out alongside Mario Kart World would actually be disastrous. Like, let's be real. I know people give me the argument of like, oh, Mario Kart and Metroid are like two separate audiences, but really, like, the noise that Mario Kart World is going to generate will be so much louder that it will like actually affect Metroid Prime 4 sales. I just know it. And you know what? We don't have to debate this anymore because it's not going to be a launch title. So everyone just calm down. Speaking of calming down, there's a group of people on the internet we need to talk about. We need to frankly expose. I don't think we need to expose them actually because they expose themselves. There's a very strange group of Nintendo Switch 2 haters. It's okay to hate Switch 2. No, you can have your opinion all you want, but like they come in to Switch 2 videos. I see this not just on YouTube, but on like TikTok, Instagram, other places. They come into a Switch 2 related video and they flood the comments either like shaming the creator for supporting Switch 2, or they say things like LOL Steam Deck better, or I'm not going to support Nintendo because they can just brick your console at any point in time. I really think what began this anti-Switch 2 brigade was this reveal that Nintendo will reserve the right to, you know, brick your console if you make any illegal modifications to it. So people are just saying that this is very anti-consumer of Nintendo, and if you support this console, you're just blatantly sucking up to these corporations. Well, guess what? Xbox and PlayStation have a very similar rule in place. Oh, and guess what again? Nintendo has had this rule in place since the Wii, I believe, maybe even before that. This is far from a new thing, and most of the Switch 2 user base is not going to be affected by it because they're not modders. So if you're going to leave a comment on this video shaming me for being excited about Switch 2, you know what? Actually do it. Comments drive up my engagement, so I don't really care. You probably already left a comment anyway. You didn't even watch the rest of this video. You just clicked on it, left your comment, and left. Well, you know what? Thanks for the free engagement, I guess. But yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 is 1 week away. It's going to be exciting. You know, Nintendo console launches, they're always exciting. You might have a case for the Wii U. I really don't care. I love the Wii U. I'm excited for Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, after I watched that Nintendo Direct back in April, I was a little bit skeptical about the thing because they didn't show the price off in the Direct. They showed it off later. It was more expensive, and then there was all the drama about the pricing and whatnot. I've let that subside. Like, I think that's all subsided by now. Most of us Nintendo fans are excited to pick up this console with our pre-orders locked in, baby, and it's going to be a fun time on June 5th regardless. Also, side note, I told myself I wouldn't pick up a GameCube controller, but I picked up a GameCube controller. I keep forgetting that the GameCube NSO library is a thing. As much as I wish that these classic games weren't locked to a subscription service, I still get excited about the idea of playing them once again. That's why I picked up the GameCube controller. I don't know if I'm too excited for the games that are going to be there at launch, like Wind Waker. I already have Wind Waker HD on Wii U, and I don't know if I want to play an inferior version of the game on GameCube, but I never played Soul Calibur 2, I never played F-Zero GX, so yeah, I think I'll check those games out. But I'm excited for the future of the GameCube library. Maybe we'll see Metroid Prime 2 there, although I'd much rather they just release a Prime 2 remastered. But I really hope they bring a lot of the expensive GameCube games to this service, namely Eternal Darkness. I mean, they're already bringing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. That was an expensive game from what I understand. Yeah, the GameCube is a tough console to retro shop for, so I'm really happy they're bringing the GameCube games to Switch 2. Anyway, I think that's all the time I have for you you today to talk about the Switch 2 a week from its release. I knew I had to just do something because we're just 1 week away, and I want to just share the excitement with all of you. I want you to share your excitement with me down in the comments. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how excited you are for the Switch 2 if you have a pre-order secured, and tell me what games you're going to play. But before we go, I want to thank my lovely members right here. They actually got to watch this video early, so if you want that to be you and you want to watch some of my uploads earlier, then be sure to join my channel memberships and become a Ferris Wheel member. But thank you so much for watching this video regardless, and I'll see you next week come the Switch 2 launch.